we are so excited that you guys are tuning in for our annual update with the Hruska Clinic Shoe List. As many of you know, our shoe list is based on the science of the Postural Restoration Institute. We do postural restoration in our clinic, and footwear can really assist with our rehabilitation program with our patients. Because our goal is to get our patients to be able to alternate, to be able to sense the ground, to be able to move back and forth between the left and the right leg. What your brain senses from the ground underneath your shoe can really affect your posture and movement and your ability to move side to side. Who knew that shoes could have that kind of impact on your body, but they really can have a huge impact on your body and your performance. So this year with your update, you could go to the Hruska Clinic website where I thoroughly go through the characteristics that we look for in a shoe. And just very quickly and briefly, we like shoes that have a heel counter that doesn't collapse in. We like shoes that bend easily at the toe box. We like shoes that don't have a lot of give when you press down on the back and that are more symmetrical at the back of the heel counter. The reason for that stability is, remember that your heel bone, or the calcaneus of your foot and ankle, we need that to be stable in order for the middle part of your foot to turn out or supinate, or to be able to roll in and pronate, and to be able to roll through your big toe. Your midfoot, the calcaneus being stable, and the midfoot being able to separate from that heel bone, allows your body to be able to move side to side, whether you walk, run, jump, or whatever your passions are to do in life. So it's important to have a shoe where the brain can sense areas of your foot to be able to feel the heel, arch, and big toe. And having shoes that fit these characteristics assist with that movement and that neurological sense from the ground for the brain to be able to feel that through the foot and ankle and the ground. That being said, I also want to make sure that all of you guys pay attention to the second part of our shoe list handout. It gives good things that we look for good examples of shoes, and then poor examples of shoes, of what we don't want to. All of the shoes on our shoe list are going to fit the examples on the good side. And you can take this information and you can apply it to a shoe for volleyball, a shoe for tennis, a shoe for pickleball, a shoe for golf, a shoe for basketball. My colleague Ann, we get a lot of questions about casual shoes, and again, you can take the same criteria and apply it to a casual shoe. She's going to be working on the next month or two, giving out some recommendations of brands of shoes with casual shoes that have been pretty friendly to our patients here in the clinic, that you can also utilize here in the future. I do want to make you aware that one change, we kind of redesigned our shoe list this year, that we're no longer putting shoes that have a really stiff toe box. So this is it's a brand new shoe, and this is the ASICS Glide Max, excuse me. And this shoe, see how stiff it is on the toe box? This shoe is stiff on the toe box, so is the ASICS Nimbus 27. So there's a new Brooks Ghost Max. All of the Hoka shoes are going to be stiff in the toe box. And if you put someone in a shoe that has normal mobility at their big toe joint, and you're putting them in a shoe that's this stiff, you may promote them to overworking their hip flexors and their back extensors. Very few people need a shoe that is this stiff in the toe box. So we are putting that on the back of our handout because I don't think I've given more. I can count on one hand how many of my patients have needed that shoe, whether they have limited mobility with arthritis or a bunion, or they had to have surgery and that joint has limited motion. Very few people need a shoe that's this stiff in the toe box. Remember, we are meant to, when we go to walk or run, our heel hits the ground. We land on the outside of our midfoot, roll in on our arch, and roll through to our big toe. If you don't have the flexibility at your big toe joint, you cannot roll through your big toe. You cannot push yourself forward and extend your hip with your hamstrings and your glutes. And if you have a stiff toe box and you start midway through, guess what? Your hip flexors and your back extensors are going to save the day, because your big powerful glutes and your hamstrings will not be in the optimal biomechanical position to help push you forward. So feel my passion about getting out of shoes that have a very stiff toe box. I'll get off my soapbox. Let's talk about some changes with our shoe list this year. I want to let you know, in the past, we've always had like 1, 2, or 3 shoes that we are really excited about, that we feel universally are going to be good for a lot of different patients. And we're having a really hard time coming to you today like, oh my gosh, the Brooks Adrenaline 23 is like our go-to shoe, or the ASICS Cumulus is our go-to shoe. We don't have that shoe this year. Unfortunately, a big trend in a lot of the shoes is for, if you look at this shoe, this heel doesn't even hit the ground. And a lot of shoes are over cushioned. They're like a platform shoe. So if you look at an on-cloud shoe, if you look at some of the Saucony shoes, it's a trend that's universal against all of the shoe companies, where they are looking for maximum cushioning, and a lot of heels are coming up. It's like a rocker shoe. And Hoke is really promoting that even with a casual shoe. And if your heel can't hit the ground when you go to walk or run, you're not going to get stability through your hip and your pelvis. And we want to get our stability here. And so if your heel can't hit the ground, guess what? You're going to overwork a neck to stabilize you. You're going to overwork a foot and ankle to stabilize you. And they were not intended to help stabilize you to push your body forward when you move forward. So that being said, I want to let you know that a lot of shoes have some cushioning. We tried our best to find some shoes that fit all of our criteria that we look for in a shoe, but also to kind of help, different people have different needs, so we're all going to have to work a little harder to find shoes that meet the criteria, but also are a good fit for our patient. Because all of us, when we looked at the shoes this week, had a different favorite shoe. And so we're not even all on the same page with what felt good to us, but it doesn't mean it's a bad shoe. But we all have a different history. We all have a different biomechanical sense. So we are just not coming out and blatantly saying one shoe is going to be great. So you're going to all have to work a little harder to work with a good PRI therapist in your area that can watch you walk, that what you can feel and sense with your body, and that hopefully they can do some PRI testing to make sure that it is your shoe. One shoe that we are keeping on our shoe list is the ASICS GT 2000. It's a version 13. What I like about this shoe is, can you see how narrow the heel counter, so it doesn't collapse in here, but can you see how narrow it is here? It's going to provide a good heel hug for some of your patients that maybe have some ankle stability. If you look at this heel counter, and if you look at this Brooks, you can see how this is more narrow and this is more wide. It's not that this is bad, but for some people that maybe their heel slips or ankle instability, this might be a good fit for them. This also has a guide rail, to help guide the foot with the heel to be able to feel the arch to roll through the big foot. It's good for an average arched individual, maybe even to a low arch. This does have some cushion. It's not maximum cushion. It has the support of the shoe, and it does have a little bit of give in the sole of the shoe, so just be aware of that. A couple of my patients really like the shoe, and I did too. But again, it's not a shoe for everybody, but it certainly has its place on our shoe list. My colleague Ann found this shoe, and we are kind of excited about this shoe because if you look at this shoe and you look at our beloved ASICS foundation that's on our wall of fame here, it looks a little bit like the foundation. The con width, this is the ASICS GT 2160. It's a little wider than the old foundation is, but some great characteristics that we like about this shoe is the upper part of the shoe is not just, it's mesh, and it's not just like one material. It's like 3D material. This really helps the foot to be able to work with the shoe. It's not cushioned at all. It has support, but it doesn't have other cushioning. And it might be a really good shoe for individuals that have a hard time, their brain having a hard time sensing the ground underneath the shoe. So it could be a good grounding shoe for some of your patients and individuals. The ASICS Piano 31 is still on our shoe list. It has more moderate cushioning. It's not maximum cushioning, but it's still moderate cushioning. And it could still be a good shoe. We talked about it last year. It doesn't get updated till later this spring. It's still good for people to learn how to work their foot ankle. For some individuals, their ability to kind of learn how to roll their middle part of their foot out and roll their midfoot in and find their big toe can be a good grounding activity for them. But again, you're going to have to figure that out. But the ASICS Piano 31 is still on our shoe list. It gets updated a little bit later this year. We'll update you if the 32 will be on our shoe list. The Brooks Adrenaline 24 came out. The Brooks Adrenaline has been a great universal shoe that we have really loved in our clinic. It's worked well for a lot of our clients. It does have more of an average toe box, so for some of those people that need a little bit wider toe box, it hasn't been as good, but it has a great guide rail system. But the new 24 has a little bit more cushion in it. It's not maximum cushion or moderate cushion, but it has a little bit more give to the sole of the shoe. So for some of our patients that have a hard time feeling the ground, it's more of a barrier between the ground, the sole of the shoe, and the cushioning of the shoe for their brain to be able to sense the ground underneath that shoe. So just a caution, it still has a great guide rail system. It's still an overall great shoe, but it does have a little bit more cushioning in it. That personally is my shoe. The 24 has not affected me, but for some of our patients that were in the Adrenaline 23 going to the 24, they don't like that shoe as much. For me, it worked out great, and it's still fine for my shoe to go out and work out in. I do want to talk about a Brooks Aerial Beast in 24. Now, this has been in our shoe, and it's really been more of a motion control shoe. What they did to upgrade this, the Brooks Aerial is the women's version, and the Brooks Beast is the men's version. And they're both version 24. And they have the guide rail system just like in the Adrenaline. The Brooks was actually the one that was on the forefront with the guide rail system. But what the Brooks Aerial and Beast did is they took out some of the posting, so it's not so controlling. And so it allows a little bit more freedom of the foot to go from heel, arch, and toe. So instead of being like a motion control shoe, it's more of a stability shoe. And so a lot of our patients, I know this has been a shoe that Anne has put some of her patients in. When I've tried it out with some of the patients, they also liked it out as well. And this doesn't have a lot of cushioning, so this may be another option for individuals to help them to feel the ground without a lot of the cushion, to allow another variable for the brain from the foot to feel the ground underneath the shoe, to help your patients find the floor. I want to talk about a new shoe. This shoe is only put out by Fleet Feet. And this is, I hope I pronounced this correctly, but the Karhu. And this is a Karhu Ikoni 3.0. And this shoe is produced over in Europe, and it's a shoe exclusive to Fleet Feet. And they based this shoe as well as the Karhu Mestarani that's also on the shoe list, which is right here. Both of these shoes were based on thousands of foot scans for people that came into Fleet Feet, had their foot scanned, and they developed a shoe based off of that scan. It has the criteria of the heel counter, it bends in at the toe box. This has more cushion, and with this shoe I could really feel my arch, but a couple of my colleagues, both Anne and Dave, they felt like it kind of pushed them back on their heel. But Torin and I kind of like this shoe. So again, we're gonna just float it out there. There's some good characteristics. The one thing I like about this shoe, if your patients need a wider toe box, it does have a wider toe box if they have bunions. So I do think that this warrants all of us trying out and just getting feedback from people. I worked out in this shoe walked my dog, I ran in it, and it did not affect me. And I liked it. I felt like I got a good guide rail from it, and I could feel heel arch and big toe. So this would be considered more of a stability or for an average to low arch individual. The Karhu Ikoni 1.5 is more of a neutral shoe, and this shoe has a narrow heel counter, so it's a little bit more narrow than the other one, but it's more of a neutral shoe, so it's not going to have as much arch support, and it might work well for people with PRI orthotics. And so again, it's produced by Fleet Feet, again based on all of their foot scans. So you can only get it at Fleet Feet, and there's a lot of Fleet Feet across the country, and as for our European friends, this might be a shoe you might be able, both of these shoes you might be able to get over up in Europe, because I know sometimes our shoes we have over here are hard to locate and find over in Europe. I do want to talk, the ASICS Cumulus 26 isn't getting updated till later on this year. We talked about that shoe last year. It still has more moderate cushioning. It does have a narrow heel counter, which is good for heel stability, but it just does have a little bit more cushioning. But it also is a good shoe that might work well with the PRI orthotic. My go-to shoe for PRI orthotics right now is the Brooks Go 16. This shoe doesn't get updated until later on this fall. It's been on our shoe list. It has a little bit wider toe box. It has a little bit of cushioning, but it's been probably more of my favorite shoe for my patients with their PRI orthotics that I've looked at on our shoe list. I do want to let you guys know that the Brooks Glycerin 22 and the Brooks Glycerin GTS 22 updated from the 21 to the 22, both went off of our shoe list. And I'll have Stacy post pictures after this video, but both of the heels don't even hit the ground. It's scooped up too much, so you can't even get good heel contact when you walk on the floor. And so that shoe went off the shoe list. It's just a big trend that a lot of shoes look like a rocking shoe. You do not want a shoe. You want a shoe, you guys, that hits flat on the floor. You don't want a heel that scoops up like this where you're not getting good heel contact when you're walking, because it will not put your body in a biomechanical position again for hip and pelvic stability. I think that I updated you with some of the major updates and went through the primary things with our shoe list. We hope you enjoyed the update, and we'll keep you updated as shoes get updated throughout the year. Thanks for your time. Have a great day.